Welcome back to page 2 of section 5.5. So we're now given the 30, 60, 90 theorem. Okay, so in a triangle whose angles measure 30, 60, 90, the hypotenuse has a leg length equal to twice the length of the shorter leg. So the hypotenuse has a length that's equal to twice, so 2 times, the length of the shorter leg. A is the shorter leg, so 2 times A. Then the length, the length of the longer leg, so this would be the longer leg, is the product, so that means multiply, of the square root of 3 and the length of the shorter leg. So square root of 3 and the length of the shorter leg, which is A. Okay, so there we have the relationship. So if we write that down here, we see over here that the shortest leg, so notice the shortest leg is this one. You can see in the picture it looks like the shortest. It's across from the 30-degree angle, and we know that from our past experience with triangles, that the shortest leg is across from the smallest angle. Okay, so those two match, and we're calling that A. When we get to the medium side, so this is the medium side, it's across from the medium angle. 60 degrees is the medium angle because 90 would be the biggest. So 60, the formula there is going to be A square root 3. Then 90 degrees, that's the biggest angle, is across from the biggest side, 2A. So I want you to think about these lengths here. So we look at these lengths. This is A square root 3, and this is 2A. So let's think. When we don't have a number in front, that's really 1A, okay? Then what does this turn into? Well, square root of 3, what is that? If you take a look on your calculator, you'll see that it's equal to 1.73. So see that? 1.7. Okay, so it's approximately 1.7A. And then here, this is just 2A. So as we're looking at these, I want you to notice the shortest leg, smallest angle, it's 1A. The number is the smallest there. The medium, across from the medium angle, and look, 1.7. That's the medium number, 1.72. So they're going in order. Shortest, medius, longest is going in order. Angles are going in order. It all goes in order. So even though you're maybe thinking of 3 as being bigger, it's the square root of 3, which is smaller than 2. Okay, let's go ahead and try a problem here. So number 10 says, given that we have right triangle, DEF, so we've got a right angle in there, with the measure of angle F being 30. So let's put that in, 30. And FE, that side, measures 12. Okay, we're supposed to find DE and DF, or DF and DE. Okay, so what kind of a triangle are we in? Well, if this is 30 and this is 90, what's left over? Together, these have to be 90, so it'd be 60. So we do have a 30, 60, 90. So we're in a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, and so what are the rules here? We know that we have these formulas, so let's go ahead and put them down. The shortest side, which is the across from the smallest angle, is A. That's what it says here. So this side, let's move this over a little bit. This side would be A, okay? This side here, across from the medium angle, it's A square root 3. And this is the largest angle, it's across from the longest side, and that one is called 2A, all right? So we have a relationship right here. This is how we come up with our equation. So we're going to say that the hypotenuse, so 30, 60, 90 triangle. So what do we know? We know the hypotenuse is equal to 2 times A. So in our case, the hypotenuse is equal to 12. So let's put a 12 in there. Okay, and then we're just going to solve it. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. So we get that A is equal to 6. All right, well, I think we have the answer to one question. We know that this is equal to 6. So we know that the shortest side now, so we're talking about the shortest side here is equal to A. I called the hypotenuse there. I probably should have called it the longest side. Let's make a little note there. Hypotenuse, which is the longest side. Okay. All right, so back to the shortest side now is across from the smallest angle, and it's A. So in our case, what do we know? The shortest side is called DE. So let's put that in here, DE. And what is A? We just found it to be 6. So that's one answer to the question. Okay. Then the last thing for us to find is DF, and that's the medium side. So we're going to say medium side. What is the formula there? Medium side, A square root 3. So we know that A is 6, so we just go ahead and plug in 6 square root 3. And what's the medium side? It's called DF. So we've got that piece there. So we're all done with number 10. Okay, on to number 14 now. We have a right triangle again, RST. And we know that RT is equal to, so that's, well, you can probably tell, that's 6 square root 3, okay? And the measure of STV is 150. So that is 150 degrees. Okay, we're supposed to find this side of the triangle and this side. Okay, we already know. Let's go ahead and do this. It's a little confusing where that ends. Okay, so if we can find out what type of triangle we have, well, if this is 150, all the way to make the straight line is 180. So what has to be remaining there? Has to be 30 to make 180. So if that's 30, what does this have to be so that the whole thing is 180? These two together have to be 90, so this has to be 60. So we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So we're going to say triangle RST. Let's see, can you see that now? Triangle RST is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. All right? So now what are we going to be able to do? Well, we know this side. So let's put our formulas in. 30, that's the smallest angle. It's across from the smallest side. And the formula there, if you look up above, shortest is A. Okay, medium side, 60 degrees is the medium across from the medium side. And the formula there is A square root 3. And then the longest side, or the hypotenuse, is this value, and the formula is 2A. So once again, here is our equation that we want to set up. So we know that the longest side is equal to 2A. Okay, so our longest side is called RT, and it is equal to 2A. But we also know that it's equal to 6 square root 3, so that's what we're going to put in there. Okay? And then we can go ahead and solve for A, because that's what we need to know to be able to get these other two sides. So when we do that, we need to divide to get rid of the 2. Divide both sides by 2. So we have, they cancel out here, and we have A. Here, what happens? Well, we can cancel these two because they're both outside the radical. So that's gone, and that turns into a 3. So we get 3 square root 3. That's what A is. Okay, how does that help us? It gives us the shortest side. So let's say shortest side equals A, which means that RS is equal to, what's A? 3 square root 3. So that's our answer there. Then we need to do the medium side. And the formula there is medium side 60, A square root 3. So medium side for us is called ST. In for the A, we're going to write 3 square root 3. And then we have another square root 3. Okay, so this A is equal to 3 square root 3. But then the formula calls for another square root 3. All right, well, that is not simplest radical form. So we notice, let's just rewrite it without all the red. Okay, so we're going to say that that is equal to 3, and then when we combine these two, that's going to be the square root of multiply the 3's, we get a 9. Or 3 times, what's the square root of 9? 3. So that tells us that ST is equal to 9. And we're finished with that problem. Okay, let's read our last two theorems. They're converses. Basically, it tells us that the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle equals the product of the square root of 2 and the length of the either leg, then the angles are measure 45, 45, 90. So it's telling us if we have that relationship, a, and then a square root 2 on a triangle, then this is the angles measure. Likewise, if the length of a hypotenuse of a right triangle is twice the length of one leg, then again we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. The angle opposite is 30. Okay, that concludes page 2.